card collectors, welcome to another edition of WTCtv. And today I'm very thrilled actually to have a very special guest, an actor you may know from The Toy, also from Christmas Story, but also a hardcore collector, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Scott Schwartz, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing good, Big T.
It's been a while. I mean, I just saw you a couple weeks ago in Hollywood, I think in Burbank at the Hollywood show. And it's been quite a while since I've seen you, but you and I kind of go back a little ways, right?
A ways.
And a ways,
yeah.
In ways and ways.
You had no gray.
You're right, I had no gray, and I think that my daughter was very little at the time. You know, now she's getting married next weekend, and made me grandpa number 2.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
I have no kids. I saved a fortune in cars in college, so I'm good.
That's why you're so heavy in memorabilia and cards and stuff, right?
That's right.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about that, actually. Let's take it all the way back into being a kid. I mean, you're basically a child actor, and you did a lot of work in movies and stuff. So did you ever have time to collect as a kid? Did you collect cards as a kid?
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember the first cards I bought were like 75 tops. I didn't buy, I bought some after that or whatever, and then I got into showbiz. And then money came, and if you wanted something, whatever. And I started probably around 82, right after I did The Toy. I started collecting like 9 of every rookie. So I would just do a sheet of rookies, So, I mean, it was whatever the hell it was.
What sport did you get? Did you collect all sports or just baseball?
Baseball, football, almost no hockey, although I did at one point have, like 9 Gretzky's, but it was like, that's a long time ago. Football, I had 9 Walter Paytons and, that kind of stuff. But baseball, it was, Thurman Munson and Hank Aaron and Willie Mays and those guys. And then, as I went up, I just decided, no, I don't really want to do that anymore. And then I just started collecting other stuff, cards, but then other stuff as well.
Like what other stuff? Are you doing everything else like action figures and stuff like too? Or, I mean.
Oh, a little bit of action figures. Yeah. I mean, I had a whole bunch of the old LJN, WWF figures. And, I had all tag teams. I had most everybody, and then it was like, all right, you got to move. And do you want to schlep this shit? And okay, fine. And we just, whatever. You sell it. And then nowadays you're going, oh my God, what I had. But I always did cards.
Always cards. When did you ever, remember when you first got into like maybe wrestling cards? Because that's primarily what we deal with here. It's wrestling cards, but.
Oh, listen, I mean, the first Topps WrestleMania, or Hulk Hogan on the box, whatever the hell it was, the first series WWF cards in 85.
85 Topps, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those were, $8 a box, $10 a box, those were big, those were massive,
And ended up being dump product because it's kind of hard to find a box that doesn't have a black mark across the front of it, from being dumped.
Well, those are all the returns.
Yeah.
And that's what Topps did, but whenever something came out, I normally bought anywhere from 8 to 12 boxes, just depending on the case size. And I just tear through them like it was, whatever. Yeah. Rip.
Now, you also had an association when it came to wrestling itself, right? Like, did you not? You have some stories, I think, about being involved in like helping with the old WWF, right?
Yeah, I mean, it started in early September of 85. I went to an audition for the movie The Money Pit with Tom Hanks and Shelley Long to play one of the kids, and walked into the audition, and this beast of a human being was sitting across the way from me, and it was Big John Studd, and he was memorizing his lines, and my time was before his, so I went in. My dad started talking to him. I came out, and he couldn't have been any nicer. He's like, Scott, I love The Toy. I'm a big fan. Oh my God, And we ended up giving him a ride down to Madison Square Garden that night. Gave me his home phone number. When you want to come, let me know. We'll be at the Meadowlands in a couple of weeks. Okay. So I went, and he brought me in the back. I started meeting the guys, and it was, within a week, they're like, hey, we're going to be here. You want to come in? We're going to Virginia. We're going to go here. We're going to DC. We're going to Philly.
So you traveled with them?
Yeah. I mean, the next thing you know, I was on planes. I mean, there were days I'd get up in the morning, have a cup of coffee with dad. He'd be like, so what's up today? I said, I'm not coming home. Where are you going? Richmond. Okay, see you later. And I literally would go to school, take off before study hall, go to Newark, get on a flight, get to the airport, get the rental car, which always cost me like an extra $10 because I was so young. The guys covered the $10.
How old are we talking about here? How old are you?
17.
17. Okay.
Yeah. And I know what airline. It was a United or American or Delta, and that's what they flew. Okay, fine. You go to the baggage, you pick them up, you go to the hotel. Go back to the arena, help set up the ring, go back to the hotel, get the guys, bring them back to the arena. Then it was Scotty, here's $20. Go get me food. So I would.
You're doing like the you're like the new Harvey Whippleman at that time.
I was the go-to.
Yeah.
Go to Scotty, he'll do it. Go to Scotty, he'll do it.
And you obviously, and clearly you were a fan of wrestling.
Oh yeah, Rene Goulet nicknamed me Mr. Free because I didn't cost him anything. So anybody needed something, maybe Mr. Free. And I'd come over. What's up? Oh, you can go get hot dogs, beer for Don. Okay, Don Morocco would hand me $20, and I go upstairs, get him 2 beers and 2 hot dogs.
That's great stuff, man.
Yeah, but
did you ever get like your cards? Were you into cards at that time?
I never brought cards to get signed. I never thought of doing that. Had I thought of doing that, oh my God.
Oh my God. Can you imagine what you'd be sitting on right now?
The dinners with Hogan and Piper and picking up Andre. I got to pick up Andre once in New York. But the British Bulldogs and the Hart Foundation and Wendy Richter and all
right during the meat and the heart of the whole wrestling and rock and wrestling phase,
Yeah. I worked most of the buildings, but there were a few buildings that were union buildings, so I couldn't do anything as far as ringside,
Gotcha.
And I'm at the Garden. And this was probably, like December, January of 85. And it was Hogan Savage with Miss Elizabeth and all that shenanigans was just starting and all this crap. And I'm in the tunnel in the hallway. We always saw Hogan getting ready, before he goes out and all that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And Vince is screaming. He is cursing. Every curse word came out of his mouth. He was pissed off. They forgot the flowers. The gimmick was Miss Elizabeth was going to be in the ring with Mean Gene getting an interview. Hogan comes in with the flowers. Here comes Randy. The flowers go everywhere, and it's on. They got no flowers. And Vince comes out to the hallway. Had never met the man yet. And he's yelling about flowers. I said, "You need flowers? I'll get you flowers." And I tore down the hallway. But when you're 17, you can run like a gazelle.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Jumped in a freight elevator, went across the street to the florist that I knew was there, gave him $50, give me flowers. Gives me the flowers. I run back. I run to Vince. He grabs them. He hands them to Terry, the Hulk. And literally it was 12, 11, 10, 9. That's how close it was. So he goes out, and then Randy goes out, and Vince looks at me and says, "You do not leave here. You do not leave my building before I talk to you." I'm like, okay. So the main event gets done. I'm in the hallway. Vince sticks his head out of this one door. "Okay, you come here." So I come and I sit down. It's just one little desk. There wasn't Gorilla back then. They didn't have it. And he says to me, "Who the hell are you?"
He doesn't even know who you are.
Not a clue. Doesn't know anything. Just some kid who just ran the hallway and got the flowers for the main event. So
at that point, you've been in 2 major pictures like that. Doesn't know who you are.
But he's not connecting A with B. He just knows that I'm some kid that's there. So I said, how you doing, Mr. McMahon? My name's Scott Schwartz. I'm in the movies. I'm ring. Well, what movies are you in? And back then, Christmas Story was nothing. It was all about the toy back then. So I said I did the toy with Richard Pryor. "You're the kid. Oh my God. We love that movie. Oh, this is great. The Stephanie loves it. Whatever." Okay. So he's like, "What are you doing here?" So I tell him, "I've been ring crewing for a couple months, and I go here and I go there." He goes, "But you're not on my payroll." No, I do it because I'm loving it. And the guys like have me around. So I pick him up at the airports, go to the hotels, blah, blah, blah. He's like, Great. You just saved my main event. What can I do for you? Whatever you want, it's yours. You want Hulk Hogan's boots? You want Andre the Giant's tights? You can have anything you want. And even at 17, I was smart enough to know you don't ask for anything because that's just not the way to get in. I said, Vince, honestly, can you just make sure Pat Patterson always has my pass at the arenas? Because sometimes they're a pain in the ass. And he goes, that's what you want? And I said, yeah. He's like, okay. So he's like, thank you. You need anything, you let me know, And he gave me the office number, Okay. And it was 3 or 4 months later. He called me the night before WrestleMania 2. He called me on that Sunday. And I had been in Boston the night before because that was the only WrestleMania on Monday night. And it was the 3-city, New York, Chicago, and LA. And I had driven all night back from Boston. I was exhausted. It's 2:00 in the afternoon. And the phone rings in the kitchen when the phone was on the wall. And I hear my dad. Yes, Scott's home. Okay, hold on a minute. Comes in. You got to take this call. I'm like, Dad, dude, I'm white, man. You got to let me. No, you got to take this call. It's Vince McMahon. Okay. So I got up. Excuse me. I got up and I said, hi, Vince. What's going on? Are you free tomorrow? I said, yeah. What do you need? Can you get to Nassau Coliseum? Sure. Okay. He goes, I'm short-staffed. I got people in Chicago for the celebrities and all that crap. I got people in LA for the celebrities and all that crap. I got nobody in New York. Take care of their dressing rooms, the flowers, the food, the drinks, make sure they're all taken care of. Can you do that? Sure. No big deal. He goes, you're in the movies. You know what to do. I said, Vince, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. Okay. He let me bring a friend. That was really cool. So I ended up doing the dressing rooms for Mr. T, Lou Duva, G. Gordon Liddy, Joan Rivers, Piper, Cab Calloway. I mean, it was really cool. And then I ended up helping with the boxing ring for the Mr. T, Roddy Piper boxing match. But that kind of solidified my being in with Vince. Is, a couple of weeks later, I saw him at the Spectrum. And he's like, good, you're here. I'll talk to you later. So later comes, okay, fine. He goes, listen, WrestleMania. Okay. Everything all right? He goes, LA, they all bitched. Every celebrity bitched him up. Chicago, they all bitched him on. The football players, the Chicago Bears, they were driving him nuts. New York, you did New York. And I said, yeah. Not one person complained, man. You did great. Oh, I did Mr. T's dressing room. Everybody. I took you. Okay. And so, I mean, that was, the start of, him saying, whatever you need, blah, blah, blah. You just can always call. And okay.
How long did this go on for, and why did it end?
It ended because I moved to California. Beginning of 87. I was there 15 months. And I mean, I did like 160 something nights. It was insane. It was hysterical. I mean, what 17-year-olds do you know that they're getting up at 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, going to school at 2:00. You're on a flight. You're going to Richmond, or you're going to DC. You're flying into Dulles, for the Cap Center. You're doing the matches. You're on the 5:45 or 6 a.m. flight back to Newark. Get in the car, go back to school. And I was in school the next day.
And exhausted, I'm sure.
Not at that age. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was on adrenaline. I was hanging with those guys and having a blast.
It's a dream for any wrestling fan.
Yeah. I mean, having dinners with Hulk Hogan, having dinners with Randy Savage and Liz, dinners with Piper, and rooming with Piper. We were in Bethesda, Maryland at a Ramada Inn that ended up being Cockroach Inn. And both of our rooms had roaches. And back then they only gave you $40. That's what the office gave him, $40 for rooms. And that was the Ramada Inn, was $40. We each had our own room. We both had roaches. We ended up back at the front desk. The lady's like, we're sold out. We don't have any more rooms. And Roddy's like, you got to do something here. She's like, oh, well, we do have like a suite for, and the high person. You got to give us a room. We ended up in like a suite. So I ended up on the couch in the living room, and Roddy ended up in the bedroom.
That's awesome.
Getting the jokes played on you. Jim Neidhart. Jim Neidhart was the jokester. I mean, as you could tell from like his laugh and his
Sure.
persona.
I could see him as a joker,
So I guess I'm on the road with them about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And I never drank and I was underage and whatever. But he's getting me drunk one night. I don't remember any of it other than being in the chair in the bar. I wake up in the morning in my room, and when
Thankfully.
there's something behind you, there's something behind you in the bed,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't remember anybody or nothing. And I kind of moved and looked over, and there was a very large woman, like, oh my God, now I can't think of her name, like Nia Jax size.
Oh, okay.
Now, what you have to know then is I'm still in high school. I was not even 5 foot tall and weighed a whole whopping 75 pounds. No, maybe like 85 because I hadn't graduated yet. But I was probably around 85 pounds. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm thinking, what did I do? So I quietly got all my stuff. I went to Jim's room. I knocked on the door. I got him up. He comes to the door.
Laughing his ass off.
Well, I could see him in the little peephole. I could see him coming toward the door. And I'm knocking, Jim, let me in. Jim, let me in. And as soon as he got there and saw it was me, I hear, see, he lets me in. And I'm like, Jim, I don't know what I did. Oh my God, what did I do? I got up some girl that's, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Woman. And what do I do? And oh my God. He's laughing. I don't know, dude. You were all over her in the bar and this. And he just goes on with this story. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what have I done? He let me hang for a little over a month. And then finally, he just pulled me aside and he goes, dude, you passed out in the chair. I put you over my shoulder. I told the desk who you were, got your key. She needed a room. I put you into bed. I took your clothes off to your underwear and you were out. You were asleep. Nothing happened. Trust me. And I was like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
That's great.
Yeah.
So then shortly after that, then you said you moved to California. So they were talking about 87. Now, this is about the same time that I believe that you opened up a memorabilia store with your dad, right?
Well, my dad bought a baseball card store from another guy.
Okay.
It was never my store. It was always his store, and I worked there on and off for years and years and years, on and off.
You brought a lot of good stuff to that store, I think, right? I mean, you have a lot of connections. You have a lot of connections, so you brought a lot of good stuff there.
Well, let's see. All of my stuff became the store stuff.
Yep.
And that was the last I saw of it. Didn't get any money from it, but it's the last I saw of most all of it.
Well, that kind of sucks.
All my Star Wars Kenner stuff, all my stuff that I got at the toy fair in New York, the couple of years I went there, all that stuff gone. It went bye-bye. And my dad would just say, well, I've got to build the store. And all right.
That really sucks.
Hey, you brought it up. Oh my God, I'm not going to lie, dude.
I know.
I know you too many years. I'm not going to lie. This is what happened,
I get it, man.
But I was always involved in memorabilia.
Well, then take that and let's move forward now. To 2000, like mid 2000s, like that. This is when you start going into helping card companies getting celebrity autographs like that, like specifically Donruss, which is now owned by Panini, it's like that. But I mean, you started getting a lot of their signatures for them, did you not?
Well,
or helping with them in some degree.
No. I kept seeing the same autographs. 2 years, 3 years. It's the same guys. Doesn't matter what sport it is, whether it was the Reggie Jacksons, Hank Aaron's, Willie Mays, or it was the Nolan Ryans, or it was the Shaquille O'Neals, or Michael Jordans, or whatever, or it was Barry Sanders, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, whatever. And I had been doing shows and I knew, quite a number of celebrities. And I came up with a concept for a trading card series. And I talked to the head of hobby sales at Donruss, and he's like, okay, listen, put together a presentation, come to our trade summit for trading cards, and you do your presentation for the CEO and everybody, see what they say. Okay. So I did it, and I did, 30, 40-minute presentation, and then they kind of asked some questions. Okay, fine, whatever. And before I left, they had approved a $1.25 million product called Americana. And it was celebrity driven. So the first series, I did like 60 or 70 of the 100 autographs.
Nice.
I did the
Nice.
signings for them. Which was great because I used connections to people that I knew to get other people, which is what you do. And you make sure everybody's taken care of, and okay, fine.
It's all networking.
Like I got Ron Howard through Clint Howard. I told Clint what I wanted to do, and I said how much money it was, and can you get your brother to do this? And he's like, yeah, we play golf on Sundays. Come to my house. We'll make it work. Okay. So we did that, and I got William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy and Billy D. Williams and Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher. And it was just like, it was great, doing the Americana series.
Networking is a great thing. I love networking so much.
I'm at Burt Reynolds' house. Okay. And I'm doing the signing for Americana. And of course, he had done Smokey and the Bandit with Gleason. I had done the toy with Gleason. So I walked in as a total stranger, some guy who's bringing him these Fakakta stickers and stuff to sign. And I walked out a friend because we started talking about Gleason. And, I said to him, I said, listen, if you think any of your friends would want to do this, no problem. I can do it whenever. Okay, hang on a minute. And he went to the phone and he literally said, hey, it's me. I'm sending a kid to your house tomorrow. He's bringing money and little stickers for trading cards. You're going to sign him. He's going to pay you. All right, I'll talk to you later. Click. And he hung up the phone.
You're like, what the hell just happened?
I'm like, what just happened? And the next thing I know, he hands me an address. And I said, Bert, that's great. You want to tell me whose house I'm going to? He said, Dom DeLuise. He's at Pacific Palisades.
Nice.
Go tomorrow, 11 o'clock. Okay.
Nice. I mean, the Donruss line didn't last very long because they ended up getting gobbled up by Panini, I think, in late, 2000.
Well, they did 3 series of regular Americana, and then they did the celebrity cuts, and I mean, I had done things a certain way. Being a collector, I understood what the value of the secondary market was, and that really didn't interest them. They really didn't care.
But did you make the price points for people on what you're paying out to people, or did the company make those decisions?
We did it together.
Okay.
They kind of said, hey, can we get this? Can we get that? I said, well, we can do this, but we can do that, whatever it was for whomever it was. But I mean, there are ways that I did things that if they would have followed what I did, it would have been insane. I mean, the different inks, like the base autograph thing that I would do with any celebrity, let's just say is 300 pieces. Okay. So I would do, 200 in black, 50 in green, 25 in blue, and 1 in red. Mm-hmm. However the numbers would work, I would make them work so that there'd be 1 in red. So that's the 1 of 1.
That's the 1 of 1. I did the same thing with my Kevin Nash autograph card.
Right. So I do it. And then they had the bigger, they were stickers, but they were paper. So they were bigger. They called them the director's cuts. Because they were bigger, I'm the one that came up with putting movies underneath the person's signature or rolls, inscriptions, basically.
Basically inscriptions, yeah.
There were none before that. If you go back and you look, they're other than Mr. October, when Reggie signed Mr. October, I think in the 89 Upper Deck set is the Reggies or the Nolan Ryans?
Well, Upper Deck, 89 Upper Deck is their inaugural year, so like that. It's kind of known for the Griffey rookies.
Was the high number? It's one of the high number series. They had the Reggie in it, whatever. Needless to say, that was the only thing that had ever been done like that. So I got Adam West, Batman, Burt Reynolds, Smokey and the Bandit, Deliverance, Longest Yard, Goldie Hawn, Wildcats, Swing Shift, Kurt Russell, The Thing.
Yeah.
So I did all those, but I'm like, listen, follow my numbers. If you see there's 20 of them, now let's say you only want to use 10 for this product. Okay. Take 10 out of this product and do it numbered out of 10. Mm-hmm. But they didn't do that. They would mix them. So like Bert, they would do Smokey and the Bandit, Deliverance, Longest Yard, whatever, and they would number them out of 100. I'm like, what are you doing? No, and the greens and the blues and all that stuff. Celebrity cuts could have been one of the greatest products ever made, but they just didn't do the numbering right.
Yeah, there's always somebody who doesn't understand the logic and the on how those things and the collectability work, because the manufacturers don't give a shit. They move on, and they like, we're going to produce, we're going to make it, our distributor's going to buy it. Once the distributors have it, I don't care, it's a sellout for us, we're done.
Exactly. Whereas they could have sold more product the way that I did my thing. Like in celebrity cuts, Russell Johnson and William Shatner, there are no regular autographs. They did one card, one of one and one of one. Well, people that are going after an autograph set can't do it. There's no Shatner. There's no Russell Johnson, professor from Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, Gilligan's Island, yeah.
So, and I went after a set, and then I figured it out. And I'm like, what did you guys do to me? But then I turned around, and in that same product, I got 67 Leaf cards signed by Shatner, Star Trek cards.
Well, that's because my next thing moving into is like, beyond Donruss, when Donruss was done with that, you went into other companies and other stuff. You did some stuff for Leaf, and then Razor, which was before, Leaf ended up buying that out, and then doing more celebrity stuff for those guys as well, and Upper Deck. And did you ever do anything for Topps too?
Yeah, no, I did the 2008 cards for Upper Deck, which was inside their baseball product, just a celebrity autograph in a box. Then I did Razor Sports, and then Leaf, Razor. Brian Gray owned Razor and bought the Leaf name and product and everything.
Correct. Yeah.
So it became Leaf Pop Century. And I still do stuff for him once in a while. Getting him celebrity autographs.
Love to have him on as a guest. I reached out to him through Twitter. It hasn't responded back.
I'll give you a number. Anyway, so it just snowballed, and there you go. And it's great when you have to call friends and go, hey, I need to see you this week for lunch, and I'm bringing X thousands of dollars for you to sign. What time are you coming over?
What time are you coming over?
I mean, that's what it was, between, Barry Williams from Brady Bunch, catching him at his mom's in Malibu and hang out for a couple hours. Mom makes lunch. Okay. And seeing Debbie Gibson at the Coffee Bean on Sunset, and going to Kurt Russell's house, and, Shatner's office.
And then you take advantage of the fact that, you are a constant fixture on the pop culture Comic-Con circuit as well, too, which is a great opportunity for you to go in and introduce yourself to those you don't know, and then also be able to talk to those that you do know to get things signed, correct?
To some degree, sure. Yeah.
Like you make those connections and help out, like, hey, such and such wants to do a card series. I'm going to be at this event. I can make this kind of happen. I can get those stickers done for you.
Yeah, sometime. Yeah. It has worked many times, I
mean, I've seen you walking around at the Hollywood show before with, sheets of stickers before, or
years ago.
Yeah. I mean, so I know I've helped out with Leaf and getting stuff. I sat with, Barry and Bill from Demolition and get their stuff signed. I've sat with Farouk to get his stuff signed. I've sat with Stevie Ray to get his stuff signed. I got Jericho stuff, his stuff signed. I mean, we all network and make our connections here and get those things done like that. But do you still do that stuff for these companies? And you're still doing that, right? To a degree?
Once in a while. I haven't done anything for Donruss or Upper Deck in a while. I did some of the couple things for Topps, for their Allen Ginter series. I propose different things. Sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't, but from a collector standpoint, the stuff that I propose is from a collector standpoint.
So let me present this to you then. Let me present this to you, because I just thought of this as we're talking right now. With today's technology, I don't understand why someone who, in your status, who has the connections that you have, has the mentality of a collector. Why not produce your own cards?
Just never something that was on my radar.
I did my own cards, and if I had that kind of connections where we're able to do something and get our connections and our networking and our talent, making our own cards.
I've worked on other stuff, but not a trading card series, so to speak.
Why not? I'm sure you followed the market, and the market has been like batshit crazy over the last 2 years now.
Oh, I know. It's just not something that was on my radar. It's not something that I ever said, "Oh, I want to do a card series." I sort of stepped back from cards, a year before the insanity,
Yeah.
uh, and now it's like I scratch my head going, "Oh my god."
What did I miss out on? Well, it's
Yeah, I
not
mean,
just, it wasn't just trading cards, by the way. I mean, people just, when we talk about these episodes, and it's all about trading cards, of course, but the entire collectible world kind of lit on fire. I mean,
yeah, but
everything.
I at one point I probably had 8 or 10 sets of 82 Wrestling All-Stars sealed.
Yeah. I mean,
And
you
when they
just know,
got to like $1,000, $1,500, I'm like, buy.
yeah. And then,
And now they're 20.
you mentioned, the beginning of this talk, you had like, a whole sheet nine of Gretzky's and stuff like that. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
those, that's like, that's sorry to say, that's fuck you money. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm
pretty
out of here.
much.
I'm
Oh,
out of
listen,
here.
you don't want to know. You don't want to know the stuff that I've had along the way, and different trades that I made, different things that I did because it was what I liked as opposed to a value of something.
Sure.
You know, um, I had, most of the T206 run, other than the Southern Leaguers and the 4 big ones. I didn't have Mangy, Plank, Wagner, and whoever the other 4th one is. I can never remember his name. But I had all 4. I had the Grover Cleveland Alexander. I had the rest of the set, and they were in pretty good shape. And back in the late 80s, I traded them for Roger Clemens rookies and Kirby Puckett rookies and Dwight Gooden rookies. And there you go, because that's what I liked. And the other stuff was just kind of like, okay, and you look at it from the financial standpoint at the time, which was, a wash. Okay, fine. But who the hell knew,
Yeah, but if you're happy with your trade back then, I've told this story before
of course,
on other
you can never go
episodes.
back.
You can never go back. I've told a story before on other episodes where, maybe 5-6 years ago, I broke my sets up and I sold my Hogan, my Andre, and my Flair from those All-Star sets. Now I bought those All-Star sets for like $20-$25 a set.
And you overpaid. They were like 5 and 10 for years.
But I bought them on eBay, like in the
Sure.
early 2000s, it's like that late 90s, early 2000s. I bought them like $25 for like the set of 3, for all 3 by it, mind you. And, so me selling my Hogan for $500, my Andre for $300, my Flair for, I came out a winner big time. Like I'm making money,
Oh, yeah.
I can't go back to the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, man. It's like, there's no way I could go back and say, God, I wish I had that. Now I could sell for $20,000 probably. So, if it grades a PSA 9, who knows? I just can't. I can't do that.
I want to show you. I want to show you something. Hang on.
Yeah.
You're gonna love this. So these actually aren't mine. I am procuring them for a friend. Okay.
Sure.
You're gonna love this.
I've heard that line before in a movie.
Oh no. Oh no. Let's see. We'll start with this one. Does the name Eddie Boulder mean anything to you?
Sure. Oh wow! Look at that. Oh, you just sent that to me. I think you sent me a text on that.
Did I send you the text?
Yeah, I think you sent me a text on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, and I sent you a minute. I go, wow.
It's dated 5/29/79.
That's an incredible piece.
Terry Boulder. They're 4x6s.
Are these
and on the other side,
are these postcards?
No, they're photographs.
Oh, photographs, 4x6.
He signed Hulk, and on the other side, he signed Terry Boulder because that's what he was in Memphis wrestling in 79.
That's incredible.
That's just cool stuff. This, I think I'm going to end up, I don't know if I can sell it, or if I can get it, the guy to sell it to me, I got to be the one to buy it, but it's dated on the back.
If you do get it done like that, I highly suggest you get it slabbed immediately.
Oh, no, they're a PSA right now.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah. This is dated on the back from the Kodak place with the 110 camera.
Yeah.
It's dated on the back September of 79.
Oh, is that Macho Man? Look at that blondish hair.
Oh yeah. I got stuff like that. Anybody that's coming to the LA WrestleCon, WrestleFest. What the hell is it?
A couple weeks from at LAX Fan Fest.
LAX Fan Fest. Yeah. I think it's at the Hilton.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
You're setting up there? You buying,
I'm
selling?
setting up there. I'm bringing some cool stuff.
You always bring cool stuff. You've always got
You know.
cool stuff at your tables, man.
I'll because the people are going, all right, so what are you bringing? So here we go. I mean, I bring all my stuff from the movies and stuff like that.
Sure.
If anybody out there has the Don Morocco LJN figure, mint on card, I'm on the back of it.
Are you?
Here. Well, actually, here, I'll show you. So, I mean, there's the card, the full card.
Yeah, I have that.
You do?
Yeah, I have that.
Okay.
I have that card.
By his right foot, just look to the left, and I'm sitting there with my hand on my chin. I got to get the right angle. Hold on.
Yeah, it's hard to get the angles like that.
Yep, hold on. Hang on. I'll do it this way. There it is. I'm sitting there with my hand on my chin.
Oh, I see it. There you are. I see it there on the hat.
Yep.
Blue shirt.
Yep. So if anybody brings that, they want me to sign it, I can sign those. Okay, fine. I have this.
That's a cool trading card, by the way. I think a lot of collectors don't think about those kind of those trading cards from action figures. They had a lot of series out there that they did, and you can cut them out. It's like,
oh yeah.
I recently, not too long ago, interviewed and talked with Brian Clark of with Adam Bomb. Very nice. Nice.
Trying to get it.
Nice Piper card.
Well, that's the one of one super memorabilia card.
Yeah. And who did that one? Is that Leaf?
No, that's from Sports Kings.
Sports Kings.
Yeah, so I'm bringing that, and I have a that's a one of one, and I have a Bret Hart numbered out of 9 memorabilia card that I hadn't signed, and I slabbed it.
So I talked with Brian Clark because he paired up with a company that's making his own, like kind of like the old Galoob type of figures, maybe even little Hasbro figures, and they're making an Atom Bomb one for him, a Chronic, a Wrath one, and I said you should put trading cards in the back of it. So, Stone Cold, what is that?
Yes,
but I can't see what it is other than the skull.
Well, let me see. It's the cooler from ringside.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
There were 2 coolers. There was a blue one and a red one. And the red one, the guy that was on the WWF Treasures thing,
sure,
that was with Booker T. If you watch that episode and when they're going in his living room, if you look on the floor, he's got the red one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The blue one was there the longest, and it was the coolest because, come on, where are you? I should take these pictures together. I'm a schmuck.
Where are the actual items?
They're in my house.
Oh, okay.
They were the items. Well, I mean, the photos and stuff, they're at PSA getting slabbed. All right, where are you? Oh, come on.
Now, I'm assuming while you're looking for that, I'm assuming you still, are you following the current product at all?
Very little.
Like any wrestling of any kind?
I really tried AEW. I tried. It's just not grabbing me.
What about it's not grabbing? I mean, I don't watch any wrestling, so I'm always curious to know.
It's just not grabbing me. It's I mean, there's a couple of guys that are pretty damn decent. Oh, here it is. It was right next to the Piper card. So this is the SummerSlam '99 action figure of Steve Austin. But look what's next to him. It's the blue cooler.
Oh, the blue cooler. You're right. Yeah.
It's the blue cooler. And I mean, I've got a COA provenance and all the stuff where it came from and whatever. There's only 2 of them that ever existed, and I got the better of the 2.
That's nice. Yeah.
So I mean, I'll bring fun stuff with me. That's wrestling stuff to that show. But I mean, as you can see by my walls, I collect all kinds of shit. I mean, actually, I should have remembered and brought it in and whatever. But the Mega Powers, and I have the white portrait of Miss Elizabeth sitting. The famous. The best picture she ever took, they say, whatever. But they're originals, and I got them from Steve Taylor, the old photographer from WWF. They used to be on his walls in the office years ago. He stopped working there, but he took his stuff with him. And, We did some stuff, and he says, "Listen, I got these two things. I would prefer you not sell them." I said, "Okay." So he showed me that one.
Nice.
I said, "It's not getting sold, dude. It's on my wall, whatever." And he knows my little doggy. For the people out there that don't know, I have a mini teacup Chihuahua. That's my baby girl.
And where is Miss Elizabeth?
Oh, she's in the kitchen laying on the couch.
You know, there
She's
was
in the living room laying on the couch.
Completely off topic for this, what this episode's all supposed to be about. That was like the topic of the weekend, man, at the Hollywood show.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody was asking, like,
where's the dog? They don't want to see me anymore. They want to see the dog.
Well, I think people were, a lot of people that I talked to were kind of embarrassed to ask you in case something had happened to her. They didn't want to, they were afraid to bring it up. Like, oh, did something happen? And they're like, but he travels everywhere with Miss Elizabeth.
Well, you're right. I probably should have brought her, but I just didn't that weekend. But like the weekend of Chiller, the weekend before, I'm going to be in Chantilly at the CSA show.
Mm-hmm.
And I go from there up to New Jersey for 4 days. I do Chiller. I go from there on Monday to Buffalo. I'm doing a signing up there on Tuesday and Wednesday, come back Thursday morning, turn around. I'm not even leaving LAX airport. I'm going from there to Tampa, Florida for another show.
Why I can't just go from Buffalo to Tampa, for crying out loud? No,
because the tickets were already booked and it was like, whatever, I don't care. So I can't bring her. It's just too much flying, and too much stuff I've got to schlep.
That's true. Yeah, you bring a lot of merch with you like that
yeah. I always have 2 suitcases in my carry-on, and it's full of merch. So I don't bring her. But my baby girl's name, Miss Elizabeth. So needless to say, the other photo that Steve gave me was the famous Miss Elizabeth portrait shot. And I actually showed it to a friend of mine in the garage here, and it's sitting on top of a few boxes in my garage, and I'm going to put it on my wall.
Now,
ain't going nowhere.
If I remember reading correctly, you also used to write. I think you wrote for Beckett at one time, did you not?
One time.
Only one time.
Only one time.
And you were on the cover of one of their issues, were you not?
Yeah, I had Don Ritz had done a promo card of me for Americana, and Beckett used that as the little thing with whatever the writing was underneath about Americana and what I was doing, and I wrote a story for them. But I mean, I'm not a absorbently great writer, so to speak. I'm sort of like a Larry David. I'm not saying I'm Larry David, but sort of like that. I write situations.
Gotcha.
I'll let somebody else write the dialogue, and fill in the blanks.
Gotcha.
But I understand funny things. So if you put people in funny situations, it's what you come up with.
I would imagine that with the amount of stories that you have would be for a really interesting book to read.
Well, my book has been sitting at the publishers now for almost 2 years, thanks to COVID. Last year, of course, everybody was out. They forget that.
Yeah.
And they're still at the point now that they have offices in all of the wonderful spots: San Francisco, London, Frankfurt, and Stockholm.
Okay.
And it's like everywhere. So they're like, well, yeah, one person goes into this office once a week, and then somebody else comes in the next day, and somebody else. And I'm like, how are you going to get anything done? So my book will end up being out next year.
It's crazy times we live in, man. Crazy times, because in my business, obviously with conventions and stuff, I just getting hit left and right. And I just kind of roll with the punches, man. When this thing all started, when it all started, I pretty much just said 2022. I'm writing off this year. I'm writing off next year, 2022.
No, I mean, I didn't write it off. I mean, I was still doing stuff last year, even, well, I mean, but I wasn't going.
I was doing privates and doing virtual con type stuff things, but I wasn't out and about flying. Outside of my grandmother passing away, I didn't fly anywhere.
See, but I did, because I watched television, and I heard, they got the air infiltration system and filters and all that shit. Okay, fine. I'm flying out of LAX. One flight I had 12 people. One flight I had 16 people. One flight I had 34 people. Okay. Yeah. So the planes are more or less empty, God saying.
Well, then they were. They're not now.
No, they're not now.
Yeah.
But, I was flying all over the place because people still wanted stuff to get done.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, okay, so I went to Columbus, Ohio, and I went to Lexington, Kentucky, and I went, Florida. Florida was pretty much always open. So I went to, Tampa. I went to Orlando. I did gigs there. You do what you can. Everybody's different and what they want to do and how they want
Sure.
to do it, and that's fine. I don't say anybody should have to do this or have to do that.
Yeah.
Do what you feel comfortable, and that's all good. But I just kept going.
Okay.
You know,
Let's talk a little bit about actually wrestling trading cards. Do you have any? Do you still collect any? Do you have any prize ones that you love that you still have? Is there ones that are there ones that you're after? Are you looking for?
I'd like to have a few boxes of. I like to have a few boxes of 85 tops back right now.
Yeah.
I'd like to have one set back of the 82 Wrestling All Stars just to have them. I have a Lawler autograph rookie. That I put in a holder.
And now let's talk about Lawler. You and Lawler have been friends for a long time.
It's funny. It's not actually as long as you think. We've been friends. Oh God, 7.5 years.
Oh, because the way you guys, you've always talked about talking with him, it's always been like you've known him for years.
Listen, it was at Chiller, and I'm sitting there at the table, and his ex-girlfriend came over. She's like, "Oh my God, Jerry's going to go crazy." And I said, "Jerry who?" She's my boyfriend, Jerry Lawler. And of course, I know who it is. I said, "Oh, cool. I've never met him." She's like, "Yeah, we're in this room over." Okay, And I went over and I said, "Hi, how you doing? I got something here for you." Because she said what a big fan he was and all that. Okay, so I signed a photo for him. And I mean, Jerry just went bananas. He's a Christmas Story junkie.
Yep.
He's got a leg lamp in his house, and it's kind of a 3-story, but the top is just kind of a playroom, and he's got the leg lamp there, and it stays there all year long. December 1st, he turns it on. January 1st, he turns it off, but it sits there all year long. Going to Jerry's for the first time for the marathon. I didn't go there for the marathon. It was a surprise. His girlfriend said, "Hey, can you come to the house for Christmas and surprise Jerry?" Sure. He has 9 televisions in his house, and every one of them has got Christmas Story on. I mean, it was crazy, but he is a great guy, so we had a lot of mutual friends, a lot of people we didn't realize we both knew and all this. And of course, he didn't know my love of wrestling. And I hadn't gone to an event in like 15 years, 16 years. And he dragged me back to SummerSlam in 14 here in LA.
Uh-huh.
And, I'm not going to go sit in a seat. That's just not going to happen because, I'll go to sleep. Not that I'm bored, but I've just seen so many. I want to sit in catering. I want to sit in catering. They got a big TV. They got food. They got drinks. They got the bathroom.
Oh yeah, I've been in catering for those events.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sitting there, and Hogan walked in. "Hey, little buddy, what's going on, little brother? How you doing?" And a few other guys walked in that I had known from the old days, whatever. And guy's walking up next to me, and I'm looking at his face. And I said, "I know you. I know you." And he looked at me, and it was Tony Chimmel.
Oh, really?
Because I ring crewed with him 30 years ago. Now it's longer than that, but And he looks at me and goes, "Scotty?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh my God, Tony Chimmel." Oh, that's it. So he hugged, whatever. And he's like, "Do you remember Mark?" And I said, "Mark Eaton." Of course I remember Mark.
Yeah.
He says, "Come with me." She takes me to the door in the hallway. And he goes, "Mark, they will let anybody in here." And he just kind of pulled me by the collar and dragged me out to the hallway. And Mark, "Oh my God." And here we go. And we're hugging, and I get a kiss on the cheek, and we're crying. And, "Oh my God, I miss you guys." So it sucked me back in,
What? No Tim White reunion?
Do you know that I've literally passed Tim White, I think, twice in all the events that I did?
Really?
Yeah, like twice. That was it.
He seems to be so attached to everything that goes on with that company when it comes to appearances and things like that. Most all of the shows that I did were house shows. There was 2 pay-per-views a year or whatever it was. You had WrestleMania, and
Survivor Series. And that's not till what, 97. And I'm, or whatever the hell, I'm gone. I'm there in the 80s, man. So Tim was wherever Andre was. And Andre didn't do that many house shows. I might have done maybe 8 or 10 that he was there. And if Tim was with him, he was with him. So he was in the locker room, and I never went in the locker room. I just never did that.
Yeah.
I understood. That's just not the place to go. I spent time in the green room, went out ringside. Okay, I hang out. That was it.
Do you ever pursue any cards right now? It's like that. Is there anything that you're looking for at all? Like I'm asking if there's any outside of the 85 tops, outside of 82 All-Star, those were classics like that. Was there anything like, you were a fan of the Attitude Era, were you not?
No.
You weren't a fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin?
I was out.
The Rock?
When I moved to California, I was out.
That was all pop culture.
But it was not my thing. That's not what I was doing. I was in my late teens, early 20s in LA, and I had moved on to other things. Wrestling was just not what I watched anymore. The only time I went was in 91 or 92. They were going to be in San Diego, and Brutus called me and said, "Hey, we're coming out. You got to come down to San Diego." Blah blah blah. Okay, fine. And I went there, and I was wearing my jacket, which is in my closet. I should have yanked it, but pulled it out for you. But the WWF Network jacket.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't sold to the general public. And Vince gave Steve one and said, "Make sure Scotty gets this." So I still have my jacket, from back then.
That's good.
And so I just told the guy in San Diego, "Yeah, I'm crew." Okay, go ahead. Nobody cared back then, whatever. And I ended up, I was there early. I was there like 3:00 for, whatever. But Vince was sitting there, talking to a few people. So I waited. He got done, and I went and I sat down and bullshitted with Vince for 45 minutes. He's like, "Kid, how you been doing? What's going on? Where you been? I haven't seen you." I'm like, "I'm here. You guys don't come out to California all that much. I live in LA, whatever." And that literally was like the last event that I went to, except, I guess I could call it an event. Hang on, I gotta sneeze. Getting Brutus out of marriage number 1, I had to go to his place and get the wife to stay away from him so he could get his bags. That was kind of an event too, But
that is an event.
Oh yeah,
it's a whole different kind of event. But
oh yeah.
Well, I'm just surprised as a collector that you haven't. What else are you collecting into then? What's your main bread and butter when it comes to collectibles? Then, are you doing 8x10s? You doing memorabilia? You doing?
I literally do all kinds of stuff, as you can see by my walls.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Me and Travolta, and my Charlton Heston, and I got Gorgeous George there somewhere in there, and Time After Time, and Caligula, and movie stuff. I got sports stuff. I got Al Jolson to Buster Crabbe to Barry Manilow, to my Barry Bonds jersey that they gave me for his 40th birthday party. They made 20 of them, and they gave me one of them, and so it's signed by Barry and Willie Mays and Charles Barkley and a whole bunch of Pete Sampras, all the people that were there.
That's a nice piece. Very nice piece.
I collect wacky stuff though. I've got my Val Kilmer, I'm Your Huckleberry, and
sure.
My Richard Dreyfuss from Let It Ride, my Fish That Saved Pittsburgh stuff with Dr. J.
Sure.
I just, a matter of fact, I found 3 Thunder in Paradise 1-sheets, originals that were rolled sitting in a tube. I took them to the National Sports Convention in Chicago, and I handed them to Darren Prince, and I said, "Hey, these are for Terry. Tell him you can, you put these up on a site or sign it, sell them. I don't give a shit whether you can have them." It's now it's just to the point where it has to mean something. I have a Julius Erving signed jersey. I've known Dr. J since the end of 1980. Okay. Now it's a New Jersey Nets, throwback jersey, whatever.
Sure.
I wrote my will already. It says I am to be buried in my Dr. J jersey. I don't want a suit. I don't want a tie. I want something that's me.
Just a jersey and nothing else.
It's big enough. You don't want to have to see nothing. Don't worry about it.
He's going full on, flasher mode.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of just the other stuff that I have, football stuff. I have a throwback piece that's got Montana, Troy Aikman, Terry Bradshaw, and Joe Namath, and they all signed it to me. That's on my wall in the living room. That's something I love,
So things are more personal to you now as opposed to being from a collectible standpoint for resale value.
For the most part, again, it's like that Randy Savage, the Macho Man picture from 78 or whatever, 79,
You don't want to sell it. You don't want to sell
it. It's not mine. I gotta try and get it, from the guy
sure.
that owns it, whatever. And if we can work that out, that's fine, but that's mine.
Yeah. With
no intent
to flip.
I got one thing. Hold on, because it's right here.
Oh, Scotty, you have so much crazy stuff.
Yeah, but when you have something and it means something, you keep it close.
Of course. Okay, we have an envelope.
We have a tan envelope.
Mm-hmm. And the winner is?
And then the inside is another tan envelope. And then we pull out the wedding invitation.
Oh, really? That's the wedding invitation for Macho Man and Elizabeth. That's pretty amazing. Oh, signed by Macho. Oh, what a piece. What a piece. That's a beautiful piece.
Going nowhere. Put it in my grave. Actually, you know what? By that point, it will be probably so damn, worth so much that I'll leave it to somebody that I know will sell it, I'm sure.
I'll hold on to it for you. I won't sell it. I'll frame that bad boy and put it in my office.
You can't frame it unless you cut it. Because
no, I don't want to cut. I just want the invitation. I don't want the signature even showing. I want just the invitation, nice picture around it, nice cut. I don't have the signature.
Yeah,
I know what's in it.
This was a Hanukkah gift
from
several years ago from Mark Eaton.
Okay, Mark.
That's my wonderful friend of God forever. Now, I mean, it was funny because I'm trying to remember what the hell I got it. I don't even remember what it was because I went blank. Because the minute he said, here, I got something for you, and he handed me the envelope, before I opened it up, I knew what it was because I knew the color of the envelope. And then I opened it up and I see the interior envelope and I started losing it. And by the time I got to the reading of the, you are cordially invited, la 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 la, and then I opened it up, I see it. That was it.
Yeah.
I was friends with Randy and Liz. All the stories, how crazy Randy was, I never saw that side of him because number one is I'm the movie star guy. Number two is I'm not interested in making a move on his wife.
Yeah.
He knows that. I know that. And, he would call me at home. Scotty, you coming to Richmond? Yeah. What time you get in? I get in like 1 o'clock. What time you get? 2:30. Pick me up. Delta. Okay. And I go to the airport and I would pick them up. So he's calling me at home. And we would have conversations, dinner. I would give her a hug. She'd kiss me on the cheek, blah, blah, blah. The other guys are like, dude, he's going to kill you. One of these nights, he's just going to put your head in the wall. I said, we don't have that relationship. And they're like, okay, take your chances, whatever. And, she left and then, she went down to WCW and, I didn't have any contacts down there, so I had no idea. And of course, I was out anyway of wrestling, but she passed, and I lost my shit, as they say.
Yeah.
I cried for 3 months. Literally, I cried for 3 months. I mean, she just meant that much to me. And I'm looking down because I'm just trying to find one thing. Let's see if I do it this way.
I'm just surprised with the connections that you've had and the love that you have for some of the talent in those days. Oh, yeah. And the love that you have for a lot of the talent that you don't have a collection of other things like trading cards have been something since you was a kid. And then you don't have trading cards of these people.
My memories.
And that's what we're all about here for WTC, which is obviously WrestlingTradingCards.com.
No, I know.
That's what we're all about. And it's so amazing that, you pass things just kind of slip through your fingers over the years of not having these collectibles anymore. It's like that. Do you wish you can go? I mean, it's got to
Of
be on your.
course.
It's
Oh
got to
my
be on your.
God. Are you
It's got to be on
kidding?
your radar to go out. Like, I mean, sometimes you find great deals. They're not overly,
I have this
breaking
in
the
my
bank.
bag. This is in my computer bag. Here's my computer bag. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen that computer bag many times.
Many times. But what you don't see is what's in it.
Yeah.
That goes with me everywhere.
Oh, that's the backside. Yeah, that's the tag team side. That's the yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yep, got a full set of those. Yep.
This goes with me everywhere. Just, I mean, literally.
That's something
It's
special. That's a cool piece.
Listen, it's worth $5 or $10. It's not the value. It's what it means to me. When I'm sitting in a hotel room and I'm just sitting there all by myself, I'm watching TV or whatever, and I take it out of the thing and I might even put it on the nightstand or whatever, and I just see Randy and Liz, and it's a warm feeling. I miss both.
Yeah, you know what? Let's wrap it up with that.
They're like family. They really were. Well, let me just finish this.
Yeah.
When Randy got inducted, and Lanny did the speech up in Santa Clarita at the Hall of Fame. I saw him. He read me the speech beforehand, wanted some tips, pointers. I'm the actor guy, and I literally had every pocket between my pants, my inside my jacket, outside, every pocket I had was filled with tissue paper because it all came out.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have a connection to people and you love people and you care for people, you never forget their kindness, or their generosity or whatever it was. And that's how I always felt about them. What I didn't know until later that night, I ended up going to dinner with Lanny, and he had a friend of his that went with us. And he took off the ring, and he gives me Randy's ring to wear, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I probably should have told you this earlier, but do you know how much my brother loved you? I had no idea. I got none. We just, we were friends. He goes, no, you don't understand. He said there were 3 people in WWF that he trusted. Me, you, and Vince being around Miss Elizabeth. That was it. Well, I mean, hearing that, then there was no reason for him to bring it up other than, whatever. It meant a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, different people had their own conceptions of Lanny, the brother, and all. And I'm like, but Lanny's like a big brother because Randy was that way to me, and I just never kind of put it together. And, oh God, now it's like, there are things that I wish I still had that I don't have. I had the gold record that Roddy Piper crashed over Lou Albano's head. I had that from ringside. I had one of Mr. Fuji's canes. But along the way, Jimmy Snuka's Tamina, they were doing a charity thing or whatever for Lou. And said, Scotty, you told me you had this. Is there any way I could get that from you? We could, sell it at the charity. Sure. And I'm like, aye. But then you think it went for a good cause and a good reason. At the same time, what the hell is that thing worth now?
Who knows? I mean, who knows? Especially when you start having things authenticated and certified. I mean, the value just goes so through the roof.
But it wasn't signed.
Doesn't matter.
It was it's the Cindy Lauper, and I had I had pieces of the frame.
Yeah.
I had all that. I mean, one of the coolest things that I have, they did the Piper's Pit game, the action figure thing, the big, put together, whatever the hell it was. And they were out. He was out here at the Hollywood show, as a matter of fact, at my mom's 70th birthday party. So that's 10 years ago. And I said to him, I said, Roddy, I want you to sign this for me. He's like, okay, go away. I'll sign it. Just go away. You come back later. Okay. So he signed it to my son, Scotty. Love you, Roddy Pipe. Love your dad, Roddy. Oh my God. Where's it going? Forget it.
It's not going anywhere now.
Forget it. It ain't going nowhere. And that's not about a card. It's just something that was signed to me with the love and care of somebody that I talk to monthly.
Yeah.
For years and years and years and years. He was out here. He called me on the phone. Hey, I'm doing the Love Boat Valentine's Day show. Come down to Long Beach. You got to come down here.
I met him many times as well over the years. I mean, not to the level of use like that, but I remember just randomly running into him in all places in the parking lot in front of a gym in Rancho Cucamonga, and he couldn't find his car. Didn't know where it was at.
Oh God.
It was the most random thing ever and the most random place ever. And it's like, of all the places in all the world to be at, like you're here in Rancho Cucamonga looking for your car.
Yeah, he was another one. He was just a great guy.
Super great guy.
Super human being, I mean, were there schmucks? Yeah. I mean, there were a couple of guys that's,
Sure.
no, I call him a schmuck, but he really wasn't, was Paul Orndorff.
Yeah.
He was an invert. He just didn't talk to anybody. I would say, hello, Paul. Yeah. Okay. And I always thought, well, maybe I did something wrong and whatever. But it's 30 something years later, and they were out here doing one of the shows at the Hilton, and they had set up a Piper's Pit set to take photo ops.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd gotten in early, and Paul walked in. There's nobody else in the room but me and him. He walked in. What time's it open? I said, well, it's like 8:15. They don't open till like 9:30. And I said, hey, Paul, how you doing? I don't know if you remember me. Well, kind of, just not. We actually had a conversation. The next 40 minutes, he's showing me pictures of his kids and his grandkids and this and that, whatever. And I said, Paul, 17, 18 months, you didn't say a word to me. 16 months, not a word. You moaned. He said, don't take it personal. I didn't talk to anybody. That was me.
Yeah. When you have moments like that and you take those and it goes into your brain and you think about those things with certain people. And that's why I think some people like to collect things. They collect things because it takes them to a point. And wrestling is so filled with nostalgia. Doesn't matter what.
I mean, I got a whole bunch of action figures that are signed by a whole bunch of guys. Some are still here, some aren't here anymore. And they're my things. My Heart Foundation.
I mean, I've got 8x10s and things over the decades of getting things signed. But if it's personalized to me, it's because I wanted it to be, and I wanted it to me. I want it to me, and I have no sentimental attachment to anything that's not personalized to me. If someone wants to buy a Matt Hardy autograph from me, by all means they can have it. But if Matt Hardy turn around and sign something to me, it means it's probably something personal. So, I'm not one to tend to get things personalized. But when I do, it's because I like.
This was one of those things that I got from Steve Taylor. They had the USO tour in '91. It was a big tour. It was Vince, Hulk Hogan, and Steve. That was it. That's the whole tour. It was a Hulk Hogan tour. They just got in helicopters and went to the different USOs and whatever. And Vince made up 3 jackets. So one has, McMahon, one has Hulk, and the other one has Taylor. Mm-hmm. And it's got the patch on the side from Desert Storm and the USO on the back and whatever. Only 3 of these things exist. I got Steve's.
Nice.
I brought it to the National with me. And I laid it on a table in front of Hulk Hogan. He looked and he went, wow. Uh-huh. Where'd you get this? I said, I got it from Steve. He's cleaning out his closet. He's moving. He goes, there's only like 3 of these. The 3 of us had him. And I said, I know. He told me the story. And he gave me a nice big Hulk Hogan signature on it, whatever. And it was so crazy. I didn't even sign it to me or nothing. I mean, the next time I see him, I'm going to have him write Hulkamania or some nonsense, whatever. Sure. Something just for me. Am I selling it? No, not yet. No.
That'll be in the coffin with you covering the feet.
Yeah, it'll be over my shoulders, whatever. Yeah, but
covering your feet. Well, I
have other cards, that I've kept. I have a George Steinbrenner cut signature card. I've got the Piper 1 of 1.
Sure.
I've got Burt Reynolds, Smokey the Bandit.
Every once in a while, when you set up certain things, every once in a while I see that you have like some wrestling type stuff with you. So I've seen you everywhere from. I mean, you and I have run into each other. Obviously, the Hollywood show. We run into each other at Chiller. I've run into you at Legends of the Ring. I've run into. Everywhere.
Are you going to be at Legends of the Ring in New Jersey?
No,
I'll be there.
No, I'm not going to be there.
So I've got Jerry Lawler, Raw worn shirts, and I've got hats and all kinds of crap that stuff that I bring that it can find another home. That's okay.
I think my next road trip isn't scheduled till like October 9th. I'll be at allegedly, they just emailed me while you and I were talking, in Texas, Big Texas Comic-Con with Kurt Angle.
Oh, cool.
Other than that, nothing else.
There's a guy I've never met.
Kurt?
Never met Kurt. No.
Super sweet
Just
guy.
Never crossed paths with him. The fun part, when I kind of got back in, when Jerry dragged me back in, I know all the old guys, okay? Yeah. So I'm standing there and I'm talking to IRS, to Bray Wyatt's dad,
Yep.
you know, and I'm talking to Dad, and we're just shooting the shit. And Bray comes walking over. He goes, I didn't know you knew my dad. Yeah, I used to drive your dad back and forth, you know, whatever. You become friends with them, you know. When I met Randy Orton, I said, can you do me one favor? And he was like, okay. Tell your dad when you talk to him next time I said hi. Tell him Scotty Schwartz said hi. And he's like, my dad's going to know you? Yeah. And it was funny because we were in Denver and the next night was down in, what do you call it? The other location in Colorado, Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm.
He comes right up to me. I talked to my father this morning. He said hi back. My dad knows you. I said, yeah. You know, so then it's that old new kind of thing, you know.
Well, it's the bridge from the old to the new, like that. Your relationships with a lot of those guys their kids are now wrestling. So I mean,
yeah. Would you believe I just came back from Tampa this past week? Rikishi was on my flight in first class.
Oh yeah,
but he's got the mask on.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go down.
But come on, you can't not miss that guy. I mean, he stands
out.
He's
got a hat. He's got his mask on. But I walked over and he's in a wheelchair because he's got some knee problems or whatever. And I walked next to him. And I have his number in my phone. So I opened up my phone, I rolled down and scrolled to him, and I hit the thing. And I said, excuse me, sir, is this you? And he looks and he goes, yeah.
No, you should have called him. Have him answer like, look left, look left. Look
right, yeah. So I pulled my mask down. I said, it's Scott. He's like, holy Jesus, how are you? How you doing, man? It was funny, you know.
Another nice guy, really nice guy. I really enjoy him.
Yeah, there were so many that were really cool people to hang with, you know. Like I said, there was just a few.
Guys, they treat once you're in that circle of people, sometimes they treat you like family. So and they look after each other. So I experienced that to a little level of degree with guys like Nash and and Angle. They kind of comfort me. They take care of me, and it's good to kind of have that kind of connection with those kind of people.
Yeah, this was sitting within my view. So as long as it was sitting there, I figured, why not? I will go and grab it. It may be the greatest sign on planet Earth.
Wow, look at that board game. God, who do you not have on there?
I'm missing 3 guys right now. I'm missing Undertaker, Vince, and The Rock. And I should have had Taker, but it was my fault. But, when you get something...
I recognize I recognize the All Access pass on the back of that too, by the way.
Oh yeah, of course, But it says, Scott, go ahead and make a movie. Just make sure it's best for business. BTW, by the way. Christmas Story is my favorite family movie of all time. Love Stephanie McMahon.
Nice.
I mean, and Hunter signed it too. Scott, don't shoot your eye out. Good luck when it's time to play the game. Come on. I've got Heyman. Paul Heyman wrote, I'm your advocate. This is something that a lot of the guys I don't know, but some I do know. Kane and Mark and Mark Henry and, The Miz. It was so funny. I was doing shows, God, how many years ago? Before The Miz re-signed, when he was out when Mike hadn't signed back up with them or something, and he was going to shows with Maurice. So I didn't really know who she was, but I saw Maurice, WWE, diva, whatever.
I used to work with her on a lot of shows.
But I ended up flying with them a couple of times on the same plane. And I knew she loved M&M peanuts, M&M with peanuts. So after the first time or whatever, she joked about the peanuts. And next time, I knew she was going to be at a show and I was going to be at a show. I brought M&M peanuts with me, whatever. But I didn't know who The Miz was. That's her husband. That's Mike. Oh, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Whatever. I didn't know who the hell he was, And then I see The Miz, I was like, okay, cool. And meeting his parents and all that stuff. Great stuff.
So many stories, man. We could sit here and talk for hours on this stuff, man. Just so many.
Because we love it.
Yeah, we love it. And that's kind of what, collecting is really all about too, is like, because you collect it because you love it. I mean, nowadays we have a lot of collectors who are buying to invest. But there's a lot of people that I talk to, and some people who work on. We have a team of people who help provide information for WTC. Some of those guys, they buy because they love it. They have no intention of selling anything at all. It's what they collect. I love my trading cards. I'm collecting my trading cards, and they're not for sale. Period. And they
There
have
are
amazing things.
Like I said, there are things I have that are not for sale. No question.
Yeah, well, I mean, assuming you're the largest seller to all things to people named Scott.
Yeah,
mean,
it's the things on my walls. They're all signed to Scott. Where are they going? They're not going anywhere. My posters that I have signed. I mean, I have my Blazing Saddles poster. It's never. There's no way. Harvey Korman wrote, "Now go, Scott. Now go do that voodoo that you do so well." Dom DeLuise signed it to Scott. "You're a big prick." Well, Dom DeLuise. I mean, where's it going? But I had Mel sign it, and Gene Wilder signed it, and a few other people. Burton Gilliam signed it. It's the stuff I love. I have my Willy Wonka poster that's signed by all the kids and Gene, and it's what I grew up with. It's what means something.
So you love about collectibles, man. It's all about stuff that means something to you. It's really personal.
Yeah, no, stuff. I mean, I have my WrestleMania 2 program that a whole bunch of guys have signed, and I got to get a few more guys on there. But a lot of some that are gone are already there. It's like okay, fine. But I'm in it. They used the same picture. Steve did that. He used the same picture of Morocco in the WrestleMania 2 program, knowing that I was around, and whatever. So that was really nice. I mean, he called me. He's like, "Make sure you get a program. Even if you're not coming, buy a program." Okay. Right. And then I ended up going and I got a program,
Well, I mean, we can talk forever about different stories like that, but I think we're running out of time here, Guy.
Okay. But we can do it again. It's okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely do another one for sure. It's like that. I'd love to do follow up with you as well. Maybe we'll just do one live at a show together. We'll just record it right there. Show together. I've never done that before. But if people are looking for where you're at, what you're doing and where you're going, where can they find you at?
Facebook, Scott Schwartz Actor is my public page where I post stuff about where I'm going and stuff like that. I mean, I have a regular Facebook page, but it's really for myself. It's not for. I'm trying to get most of the fans over to the other page. This way, I just have my schoolmates and people that are, not Facebook friends, but true friends, that I know. So Scott Schwartz Actor on Facebook. For excuse me, merchandise.
Don't die on me here, man.
A ChristmasStoryGift.com or ChristmasStoryGift.com. It's one or the other. You can look online, and it's got photos of me, photos of Ralphie, photos of Scott Farkas the Bully, and Grover Dill, and Randy, the teacher, and the elves, and all that stuff. And we got signed stuff on there all the time.
And what do you have coming up? Like real quick, what do you have coming up? Like where are you going to be at? Like the next? I know you're going to be at Chiller end of October.
Well, yeah, but I'll be at the wrestling show, the LAX Fan Fest. I'll be there.
2 weeks, I think. 2 weeks, I think it is.
Yeah, and then the following week, I am at. Oh God, the 2nd and 3rd. I know I'm somewhere, and it's just not coming into my head now. The following weekend, the 8th, 9th, 10th, I'm at the Hazard Fest show. The following week, I'm at the CSA show, October, in Chantilly, Virginia. The following weekend is the end of October is Chiller.
Yep.
Then I'll be up in Buffalo, and then I'll be back in Tampa after that.
Getting those frequent flyer miles, buddy.
Oh, I hit 75K already on Alaska.
That's nice.
I hit the top tier.
Every time I talk with Kevin, he always talks about so he's a diamond status with Delta. And it's like that, over 3 million miles like that. And he goes, yeah, the only guy's got more miles than me is the pilot.
Yeah. And yet you still have to buy him a first class ticket when he automatically gets upgraded.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, just buy him a coach, man. He'll get upgraded automatically. I mean,
of course, like automatically, as soon as you buy it, he gets upgraded. He goes to pick his seat out. That's where he's going.
Yep. So,
yeah.
So, and that's it, right? Just Facebook. There's no Twitter, Instagram for you that you really use. I don't think.
I don't really use it. I'm just.
I saw you on there, but I don't. It's been like so long since you posted anything on there.
Yeah, so. No, I'm just too goddamn old to do this shit. I know. I mean, I understand that people love it, and the I mean, I do Cameo. I am on
Okay.
Cameo, so you can look
There
up,
you go.
you know,
Hit 'em
look
up
me
on
up on
Cameo,
Cameo.
man.
You can get a thing from me on Cameo. I have shout out and happy birthdays and all that stuff. But you know, the TikTok and the
Yeah,
Twitter and
I'm on Twitter,
I
Instagram, Facebook. I do the YouTube stuff like that, but I'm doing it from a business standpoint. I'm always promoting things like that. But me
yeah,
personally,
yeah.
I have the Facebook and I have no personal Twitter. I just do Instagram. But for me, for WTC, you can find everything on WTC at WrestlingTradingCards.com. Everything you ever want to know about wrestling cards is there. All of our social media is there. You can like, subscribe, share, comment, bitch, complain, whatever you want to do. It's all there. I don't care. I just keep learning. I keep learning.
Bring back Ronda Rousey. I
Yeah.
loved her. I thought her gimmick was great. I thought the Piper connection was great. I loved everything about it. I'm a big Bill Goldberg fan. You can like him, not like him, this, that. He wasn't, I guess, the safest with some talent or whatever they said. But from a talent standpoint, I enjoyed him. I enjoyed the performance. I mean, it's like greatest villain, Undertaker. There's no question. He was he's the greatest character I think they ever created. But, human being, Piper and Savage to me were great guys. I mean, Hulk Hogan's a great guy, and so
those guys, they all do well in the collectability market. Those guys always do well. Their cards they're like the benchmarks. Yeah. Those are the benchmarks right there for a lot of things.
It just ended up that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of, being that I was in showbiz and I was in the movies, hanging out with Hulk Hogan, it was cool. But I never really thought about what it meant until way, way, way later. That he's at the height of Hulkamania and we're going to dinner. I never thought about that. You don't go there.
No, it's just,
at that time.
You're basically hanging with your friend.
Exactly.
That's all you're doing. It's just my friend. He just seems to get a lot of pictures taken of him and autographs. I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the stories. Yeah. We'll do it again. There's more stories and more fun.
I might even do a whole segment just called story time with Scotty Schwartz.
There you go.
People will enjoy that, man.
I mean, if I don't sell the high ticket stuff that I'm bringing to the wrestling show, the next time we do our this thing, I'll bring them on the show so people can see the cards.
Absolutely.
And all that stuff,
Absolutely, man. So, well, I appreciate your time, sir, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you again soon.
Anytime, brother. I look forward to seeing you soon.
We talk and tech a lot. I love you, man. You've helped me out in some binds when I needed it, especially dental work and things like that. That was the best deal ever, by the way. I got $150 and 2 autographs. That's all it was.
Anytime, you know it. Yeah. Whatever you ask, it's yours.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate you. I do appreciate you. So, and I
will. My friend.
I will be talking to everybody again soon. So. Thank you so much, Scott.
Be well, everybody. Stay healthy and well, and take care of the baby.
We are out.